The Wild West. The Juarez series brings us back to an era of cowboys, Indians, pioneers, outlaws, and gunslingers. The first Juarez, while it received mixed reviews, the game is a classic that has soul. It even had pioneering elements in gameplay that are still used to this day in modern gaming, such as telling a narrative story through first-person cinematics. But unfortunately, it was bogged down by its bad controls, poor first-person platforming, its hit and miss voice acting, and its ugly character models. The second game in the series, Bound in Blood, is known to be the best one in the series, improving just about everything from the first game. Having great music, much better graphics and character models, larger outdoor environments, and a lot better gunplay and hit detection. This is a sequel that is done right. However, that is thrown completely out the window with the third installment of the series. The Juarez, the Cartel. In short, it's just garbage. Its only saving grace is its music and decent story. Otherwise, skip this game and save yourself disappointment and pain. Finally, we get to the most recent game in the series, Gunslinger, which thankfully takes us back to its western roots that the cartel just threw out. This game just oozes style and charm, with its cel-shaded graphics and humorous dialogue and fantastic gunplay that reminds me a little bit of Borderlands. You play as Silas Greaves, an old bounty hunter who tells of his adventures to a few patrons in a saloon of his younger days to the present. Silas' story pits him against the Wild West legends like Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and Butch Cassidy. Greaves constantly insists that he is the reason for their success or demise, which everyone has a hard time believing in his outlandish claims. As Silas recalls certain details of his adventures, which are often being challenged by the saloon's patrons, that don't seem to make any sense or just seem impossible, Silas will retract certain details and aspects of his story, which in turn changes the structure of the level right before your eyes. This is such a unique concept and fun gimmick that I wish more games would implement it. Another unique feature of this game is the card collectibles known as Nuggets of Power. They give you a history lesson and background information on famous outlaws. Although half of these are quite hard to find, and even though you have a skill to help locate them, I was only able to locate about maybe half of them. Speaking of skills, this game has a level up system, and the better you are at shootouts, the more experience you gain through more skills. This not only motivates you to do better, but it's also a blast just raking up the experience points and killing enemies. There are 3 skill trees that you can specialize in, between dual wielding, long range, to close quarters. The game's core mechanic lies in its concentration bar, which is similar to Maxis Paint's bullet time, but this is extended and further refined here to the skills you learn over time. Near the end of the game, I could slow down time, reload at super speeds, and automatically target enemies. I became the ultimate gunslinger of the West. This doesn't mean that Silas was unkillable, however, as the game is quite challenging, especially with certain boss fights, and he's quite vulnerable in gunfights as well. But I also like the vulnerability, as this makes the story more believable instead of making Silas an unstoppable killing machine bent on revenge. The quick draw duels return and have been further refined from Bound in Blood, but it still feels a little broken. A new aspect of the duels is that you can now draw your gun early before your opponent reaches for his gun. However, this gives you a dishonorable mark, reducing the amount of experience you get. This encourages you to duel honorably to get that much needed experience. The enemy's AI is also quite intelligent and quite aggressive, which just highlights the gunfights even more. While this game is a blast to play with an unlikable protagonist, it's also a very short game. You can beat this game in 4 to 5 hours through your first playthrough. The game does have 2 different endings and 2 different modes to extend the game's length. One being the arcade, where it plays just like it sounds, killing as many enemies to attain a score through its campaign stages, which I found quite fun. The other mode, unfortunately, is based on its quick draw dueling, which isn't worth your time. It's also a shame that there isn't any multiplayer. I feel this game could have truly benefited from having one, as the gunplay is quite a blast to play, and this would extend the game's value. And while the environments are quite beautiful to look at, you can't wander off to explore them, as the game is very linear, which is such a shame because this world is begging to be explored. And the dueling mechanic, while being refined, still feels broken and it feels immersion breaking. And I would prefer the traditional boss fight over a quick draw. And also, the load times also overstay their welcome as they border on annoyance. Overall, Call of Juarez Gunslinger is a great game with fun gameplay, great storytelling, and so much charm and style that it makes it a Wild West adventure you don't want to miss. Let's hope this is not the last we see of the Call of Juarez series, and it's one hell of a, if it is, it's one hell of a send-off. I give this game a 9 out of 10. Stay safe out there and subscribe if you like. This is Wave Wolf signing off.